Welcome to our Plugs Community Connection. I am your host, DJ Kitty Cat, with my sister co-host, Miss Morningstar on WKRA 92.7 FM The Change. If you're looking for the best in news, current events, community outreach programs, and shopping connections, you've come to the right place. We've got a great mix of content and community connections lined up for you this evening, along with special guest interviews. So, grab your favorite drink of choice, turn up the volume, and let's get into it.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, Holly Springs. Good morning, Memphis, Tennessee. Good morning, WKRA 92.7 The Change. I am your morning host, DJ Kitty. I'm here with my sister, Miss Morningstar. We are from Our Plugs, the Community Connection, here to bring you guys the news you can use. Good morning. Good morning, Miss Morningstar. How are you? And
I'm on mute. Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Happy, where are we at
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Look, I'm losing track of time, y'all. But that might be a good thing because that must mean the week is gone. It's moving. So
yeah, it's moving smoothly.
It's running. I'm staying busy. So good morning, everyone.
Good morning. I hope everyone had the opportunity to get you something good to eat. You have a cup of coffee, some tea, some water, something good to drink, and you are ready to start your Tuesday. But before we get started, of course, we have to start with our morning positive affirmations. And you know who brings that to us every morning? That is Mrs. Morningstar, the affirmation queen.
I wish they could see us. I wish they could see us in Holly Springs.
When we do our little,
when we do our affirmation queen pose.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, if they go to YouTube, they can definitely
watch it. Yes,
absolutely.
y'all. Make sure y'all download us on YouTube at ourplugsllc and watch the repeats.
Absolutely.
Of the show.
And you can see our, our poses that we make and our hearts that we send out to everyone.
Yeah, we show love.
So it is Tuesday. What do you have for us today, Miss Mornings?
So this is always one of my favorite shows. Of course, I love our plugs and all we bring, but I love when I hear from our leaders and our veterans because veterans hold a special place in my heart. And of course, the leaders, I'm a leader in what I do naturally. So I love talking to other leaders and learning. So this one is about, here's some quotes to inspire your leadership. And then we're going to talk quickly about the benefits of positive affirmations.
Okay.
So here's some leader quotes. So this is from Walt Disney World. It says, all our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. If your action inspires others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. That's John Quincy Adams. Leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. That was John F. Kennedy.
Yes.
Success, smart man. Success is walking from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm.
Yes, ma'am.
Winston Churchill. Opportunities don't happen, you create them. Chris Grosser. A dream doesn't become reality through magic. It takes sweet determination and hard work. Colin Powell.
Yes. Sweat. Sweat.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Sweat. Y'all know what I meant. Benefits of positive affirmations. So positive affirmations are helpful for leaders to feel strong and sure. Positive affirmations help you build confidence when leaders say things like, I'm a good leader, or it helps when you feel more sure of them, or they feel more sure of themselves. It's like wearing a superhero cape that makes them feel powerful. That's true in leadership.
Yes, it is.
It allows you to keep your focus, and affirmations also help leaders keep their eyes on what's important in real leadership. You look and focus on the problem, and you want to make it better for your team. Also, it spreads positivity. When a leader is positive, it's catchy, so it rubs off on your audience, and it spreads to the whole team, making everyone work better. And it's like sunshine that makes flowers bloom. That was cute.
Absolutely.
So all in all, that was it, guys. Leadership is important. It's important to have strong leaders, and we can always recognize strong leadership, because when you have strong leadership, you have a great effect on people.
Isn't that the truth?
Keep that in mind.
Yes, strong leadership has a positive effect on people when
Yeah,
you are thinking outside of yourself and you are strong enough to think about others, not just
exactly.
yourself.
Not just yourself.
Yes, yes. Good. Those are good. Those were great. So we're gonna hop right into the weather. Now, I don't know what happened. We were dealing with some beautiful weather. Now all of a sudden it got a little chilly again. I don't know if I like this. I do not. But I'm here to report it. I don't make the news. I just report the news. So in Holly Springs today, it's going to be 59 degrees with a low of 36.
Oh,
Burr,
yep. Better grab y'all coats again.
a jacket.
Woo.
Got about a 5% chance of rain. It's going to be sunny, so maybe go stand in the sun. Winds are about 5 to 10 miles per hour coming from the north. Memphis, about the same, 58 degrees with a low of 38, about a 4% chance of rain, sunny, winds coming from the north northeast, 5 to 10 miles an hour. Jacket weather, because Burr, that's a little chilly for your girl. Houston, H-Town doesn't let me down. Bars. 77 degrees. Yes, I'm loving it. With a low of 54, 4% chance of rain, sunny all day, winds, and winds are light and variable. So it's going to just be a little windy and cool. I'm a 70s baby, so I'm loving the 70s. Now,
Mm-hmm.
there are some river flood warnings until this afternoon in Holly Springs, Mississippi, and in Memphis, Tennessee. You guys be careful with all this rain that happened over the weekend. The rivers are rising, so please be careful. Turn around. Do not drown. You have things to
All
do
right.
tomorrow. Okay, you are needed. You are wanted. Pay attention to the roads. Pay attention to your surroundings. April has brought in some severe weather within the last week. We've had rain, hail, tornadoes, floods all through the South, all through the Midwest, and pushed all the way out to the Carolinas and Georgia and even DC and New York, But this is Mother Nature, global warming. Yeah, this is Mother Nature, and this is what happens. So we just have to take heed and understand that, the climate is going to do what the climate does, including um, the trees with all the pollen. So, just be careful out there, pay attention to the weather, pay attention to your surroundings. And I pray that we're going to be okay. I don't see anything major happening, but if it does, I'm going to report about it. So today is a new day and we have new news, new news as always.
No
New
news.
news. Okay, so did you want to start, Miss Morningstar? I think I started yesterday. You can go right ahead.
Yeah, I can go ahead and jump into some things. So let's see here. Yeah, I know it. That's my roll call. So, of course, there was a judge order that they were supposed to return the man wrongly sent to El Salvador. He was supposed to return by midnight yesterday, but your boy Trump, President Trump, of course, went to go seek help from the Supreme Court to avoid returning a man wrongfully sent to El Salvador. And of course, he has connects and friends within our highest SCOTUS level
Yeah.
court, the highest level, which is John Roberts SCOTUS. He went on to put a halt on that
Put
return
a
of that
pause.
young man. Yeah, he put a halt. Um, Guess they need to review some things. I don't know. Doesn't mean he's not coming back, but it's just he put a halt. He gave
Yeah.
a cushion to our little president, who gets in his feelings when he's told no. So yeah, that happened yesterday. He put a hold on the lower courts. Once again, this is where we're at in our justice system. It's unbelievable, but this is where we are. Nothing is fair and just any longer. Things that make complete sense just don't make sense to them no more. Nothing makes sense. Real life, and it's
Hot mess.
sad. It's sad. It's real sick.
It's a
So,
hot mess.
so what we're gonna do is we're gonna wait it out. Hopefully, they get this young man back home to his wife and his kid, and then they're gonna attack him another way. I'm pretty sure.
It's just ridiculous. But
Yeah.
I expect nothing more from this administration.
Oh yeah.
Expect the very worst.
Yeah.
Can't expect it more.
not to be the least bit surprised by that.
No, not at all.
So we got some financial executives who backed Trump, confronted by buyer's remorse.
Yeah, I hear that they're not
Yeah,
too happy
he ain't real
about
happy.
this election.
They're not happy with this whole stock market. They expected more, and they're saying this is not what I voted for. One in particular who really had Trump's back. Y'all, I don't know if y'all know who this is. You probably do. Bill Ackerman.
Yeah,
He's a billionaire. Yeah, he's a
he's a billion.
billionaire. And
Keep
he's
messing with Trump, he
very,
won't be for long.
very disappointed with Trump. Trump was one of his number one picks. He backed him all the way through the campaign. He is saying this is not what we voted for. We didn't vote for this.
Are they asking for a refund? That's all I want to know.
You got to go over to Al 10 and
Go
you
to the
need
customer service desk.
and go talk to customer service, because
We
ain't
don't
got we ain't no holler for you over here.
Yeah, we typically don't give out refunds when you pay for a president to get in office. We typically don't give out refunds.
Yeah.
But
So
now
you're going to take that loss, that L, whatever you're taking in the stock market, you're going to continue to take those L's, and you're going to keep it moving. In Black news, all references to Harriet Tubman was removed from the Underground Railroad webpage by the National Park Service.
y'all can remove it all you want. We know the truth. It's too late now. And we're going to tell our children. So you removing it, that tracks. We know what you're doing. But
we're never going to forget.
We're not.
It's already here. It's already in the brain.
Yeah, and we're telling our children. And then on top of that, people don't forget. And at this point, we're not going to forgive either. You're going to get what you get, and you're not going to have a fit.
Mm-hmm.
You can remove Harriet Tubman. That's fine.
It was done. It was quietly. They did it real quietly when they removed this, promoting her advances, her advocacy for civil rights, and I guess they want to downplay history, which we know that's what they want to do. They want to make it a soft landing in history, so it can coddle. Won't hurt their kids' feelings to know that they were some savages and some very, 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 very horrendous people, and how they treated other human beings was despicable. Despicable. So yeah, those are the kind of things that are coming out that we find in today's history. That removing monumental names from from the national parks, and from historical veterans who served. just doing very malicious things to black and brown people, y'all.
Well, I will say this, and I agree with you 1000%, Melbo. There is no underground railroad without here at Tubman. And you guys, they can, Trump, if you're listening, we don't care. You do what you're going to do. We expect you to do it. We expect you to do exactly what you're doing. It's not going to change history just because you try and hide it. We're still going to teach our children the truth, and your
Yeah.
children will learn the truth as well. And Trump, he
Guess
won't,
guess why, Kitty though? Why they kids gonna know the truth? Cause
because
they kids are friends with our
with our
kids and
kids,
they like our kids and they don't
yes,
understand why their parents are the way they are.
they
So
actually want to be like our kids.
I'm
If you
just
want to
saying.
know the truth about it, if we want to get down deep into the weeds about it, they want to be like our kids. So their kids will learn the truth about their ancestors. We are our ancestors, and those children are theirs, and they will learn about their ancestors and what
Hmm.
they did. So you can remove whatever you want to, Trump. Dude, I have no other words for him. I don't. But besides, I hear I hear that China. Well, I'm gonna say two things. Are you done, sis? Because
Yeah,
I
go ahead. That was a wrap for me. That was a
Okay,
wrap.
so I'm gonna say two things. As far as the Dow goes, they
Mm.
closed on Friday at what, down 7,000 points. Today was another 330.
Mm.
No, you know, y'all out there in finance, there is a word called insider trading. And hey, allegedly, because all of this doesn't make sense. And I'm just going to leave it at that. But we shall see how he tries to, stop the hemorrhage, and how everybody's trying to help, you know, trying to persuade Daddy Trump, Frumpy Dump, to not
Hmm.
to not push tariffs forward. But as of today, he said China, because China retaliated and raised the tariffs on the United States. He said that he's going to implement a even more tariffs. It's going to be 105% tariffs on China. We get literally everything, not a few things, but everything from China.
Whatever you do, I can do more. I can do it too. This is
The
the childish game of I can do more than you can do. If you want to challenge me, I'll challenge you. This is like
a
playing
man
chicken.
child, a
Yeah,
man
man,
child. Do you hear
playing
me?
chicken. But you're playing with other people's money.
Yeah, it's gambling. And see, you think that imposing these horrendous tariffs on these other countries will actually help the United States, but I really don't think that he's trying to help the United States. I think he's trying to think.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So
Yeah.
in local news in Holly Springs, Big Lots store is reopening with new ownership, and this is across 9 states. So welcome back, Big Lots. I don't know how
Okay.
you're gonna survive if you're getting your stuff
Ooh.
from China. It's gonna be a little ugly for everybody. But like he said, it's gonna be a little rough.
Take some
Okay,
medicine. Take some
you
medicine.
know. And in Vicksburg, the mayor declares a state of emergency following the rising of the Mississippi River levels. So, you guys be careful. As I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, please be careful. The Mississippi River is rising, and you guys are right there. You're in Mississippi. Um, I want to give a shout out and a congratulations to Hickory native Maddie Oliphant, crowned Miss Mississippi Teen USA 2025 last
Oh,
week.
congratulations, young
Congratulations, young
lady.
lady. Beautiful young lady. And in Houston, Texas, local news, I only have one story for the Fort Bend County judge. His name is Rashi Vats. Um, he was already charged and arrested. This is his second arrest. Before, it was a misdemeanor he was charged with. But this one is money laundering. And he's got 2 third-degree felonies. 2 counts over $10,000. The Dems are asking him to resign. Dude, wrap it up.
Please, hurry up.
Wrap it up. Pack your bag.
You're
There's
crook.
a box. Get your
You
stuff.
Decepticon. Get out of here.
We're not the Republicans. You know.
I don't care nothing about Democrats. I don't care nothing about all that.
No, pack your stuff up and go on about your little marriage.
You need some boxes. We'll send some to get out.
We'll give you some boxes, because when you sit up here stealing and money laundering.
Welcome to a world that sparkles. Sparkle Kicks LLC takes cut.
I don't know what that was. My commercials are trying to jump in before I'm done.
I know, right?
But,
we coming commercials.
We coming. Hold on. But he's trying to put his hands on stuff that he shouldn't have his hands on, and that's not cool.
Got his hand in the cookie jar.
Cookie jar, and you got caught. So go ahead and pack up your stuff and go on and leave. Politely, thank you. Please and thank you. So on that note, we will be right back after this quick commercial break. You are listening to Our Plugs, the Community Connection on WKRA 92.7, The Change.
Hey guys, yes, this is my nonprofit, Carter's Caring Hands. And what my nonprofit does, we give fresh food boxes to those families in need that's struggling to keep food on their tables. We also go out into the unhoused community, give out care bags here in the Kalamazoo, Michigan area. So if you'd like to donate to the cause, please go to www.carterscaringhands.com and donate whatever you can, so we together can uplift those families that are struggling to keep food on their tables. Highly appreciate it. God bless.
Welcome to a world that sparkles. Sparkle Kicks LLC is your one-stop shop for a wide variety of customized items. So bling out your Crocs, customize that cutting board, get you custom dominoes. Stop by and we will customize your order today. We can be found on Etsy and Our Plugs LLC. I'll be waiting to customize your order. All you need to do is place it.
Timeless elegance, redefine class. Welcome to Morningstar Boutique by Tam, where fashion at its finest, fashion that brings out your inner cuteness, and styles that make you go, oh girl, where you get that from? Check me out at www.morningstarboutique.com or at ourplugs.com. Can't wait to see you.
And we are back. You are listening to Our Plugs, the Community Connection on WKRA 92.7, The Change. Happy Tuesday. Today is our Veterans Voice and our Leaders Who Mentor. Those are our topics today. We've got some great people that will be joining us to talk about what we want to talk about, and that is the community. Mrs. Morningstar, go ahead and bring Ali Gold on up. Let's hop right into Veterans Voice.
All right. Oh no, Ali.
Hey, Ali, how are you? Happy Tuesday.
You on mute, brother?
No, he's not on mute, but I can't hear you. Hey, Ali Gold, can you hear us? Nope, you're talking, but we hear nothing.
Yeah, you got a
little technical difficulties. Go ahead and disconnect whatever you just plugged up earlier, and let's hop right into this. I think today we are talking about dignified transfer, and I had to read up on that when Ali Go told me what we were going to talk about, which was really interesting. You're back on mute, Ali Go. Go ahead and take yourself off mute.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Good. Loud and clear.
Me and Mike's got problems, I guess, you know.
Yeah, and let me guess. You got it from the TikTok shop.
So finish what you were saying. You were saying you were looking up dignified transfer.
I did. I read up on it, and I'm not in the military. I just wanted to try and understand what it is and the responsibility of the commander-in-chief when a soldier passes under his command. And what I'm reading is somebody by the name with the initials DJT did not follow protocol, nor did he stand up for the people who are he's leading, quote unquote. So go ahead and jump right into it, Ali. I'm gonna let you talk about it because you are a veteran.
So a lot of so in the grand scheme of things, right? How people and how military take care of their fallen troops tells you a lot about them. If you look at how the reverence is being paid, the respect for the body, even the body parts, that tells you how, you know, where they value their troops and their service members. If you look at how the casket is draped, you know, the flag and everything, it's a big deal. It's because imagine if you're a troop and you're a person serving in the military and you see the fallen troops, right? They're just not taking care of them. Would you feel obligated to go out your way to maybe save someone? You're not gonna be feeling patriotic, right? All
Exactly.
right. So do you remember when Joe Biden, the watch gate, when Joe Biden was looking at his watch during the dignified transfer, how they made a big deal of it, right?
Yep.
So the commander in chief, like you're saying, he's responsible, right? Obama did it once, right? He didn't even tell anyone. A bunch of soldiers came back and he went in the dead of the night and he didn't alert the press. He just snuck off and he went, and of course some of the press pool was there and they caught him, and you know, he paid his reverence. It wasn't about him. It was about the fallen soldiers, right?
Absolutely. When the 18 had fallen, I think it was
Mm-hmm.
18.
Yeah, 17, 18. I can't remember. I
Yeah,
think it's
17 or 18.
yeah. So now, fast forward to today, we have an incident in Lithuania. And let me see if I could play this that I have here.
So they are soldiers from Lithuania. There's some others from Germany as well. But look what they have tucked into their pockets. They have little American flags just below the flag of their own countries sewn onto their sleeves. In the capital city of Lithuania yesterday, thousands of soldiers and dignitaries, and also just ordinary people, lined up in the streets to pay their respects and to honor 4 American soldiers who died in Lithuania this past week during a training exercise. The ceremony was attended by the president of Lithuania, who gave a speech on the occasion. He said that for Lithuanians, serving your country is not just a duty, but an emotion. And you could really see that among the people who gathered. Lithuanian citizens were moved to tears, moved to genuine grief.
Yeah.
But again, this was a ceremony for Americans, for American soldiers. Officials arranged for an archbishop to bless the motorcade before it drove to the airport to start the process of returning those remains, returning those soldiers to the U.S. In our country, of course, it is a sacred tradition that when members of the armed services die in the line of duty overseas, their remains come home to the U.S. in what's called a dignified transfer. Their remains are flown home specifically to Dover Air Base with American flags draped over the coffins. It's a very somber, very important, very serious, very specific ceremony. And a dignified transfer is often attended by the President of the United States as a sign of respect from the Commander-in-Chief. After that very moving send-off from Lithuania and from the government and the people of Lithuania, the White House announced here in the United States that when those 4 young fallen American soldiers landed back home here in the U.S., President Donald Trump would not attend the dignified transfer. He would not be waiting at Dover to pay respects to the service members who died, even as Lithuania's president made sure he was there to see them off. Donald Trump has decided instead that he's going to Florida to watch a golf tournament and to go to a golf dinner tonight. You know, given his previous comments, I guess you could say this is consistent with his apparent level of investment on this issue. I got to tell you, we do not play a lot of tape of Donald Trump talking on this show. We sort of it's not a hard and fast rule, but kind of a rule of thumb on this show is that we try to cover what the president does rather than just what he says. He gets plenty of coverage for what he says. I prefer to focus on actions rather than his words. In this case, though, I'm going to make a little bit of an exception. I think what he said here is its own kind of action. I just want you to see it. It's very brief. This is how Donald Trump, President of the United States, responded when he was asked about the service members in Lithuania after they first went missing.
Mr. President, have you been briefed about soldiers in Lithuania? Have you been briefed about the soldiers in Lithuania who are missing?
No, I haven't.
Nope. What was it again that the Lithuanian president said about service? He said, for us, it is more than a duty, it is an emotion. For Donald Trump, it was, no, haven't heard anything about it. Next question.
Ali.
Yeah.
When I say I'm beyond disgusted, you know, when my dad passed away, we had his funeral and I'm not going to make this about myself, but we had his funeral at the Veterans Memorial Cemetery. And they played taps and they did the salute and they gave my mother the flag, and it was so emotional and it was so moving. I'm livid. WKRA 92.7, The Change. I want you guys to know these are my opinions, but I cannot stand this man. You don't give a doggone about our troops. Even in death, the disrespect that you've decided to do. You went to go play golf.
And
you know, there's a saying that what goes around comes around. And baby, we all have a day that we will meet our maker. I'm gonna go on mute, Ali.
Yeah, you know, if you saw the procession, you saw how Lithuania took care of the troops.
Our troops.
Right. You saw the respect they gave, right? And then for them to put out a press release saying, hey, the president is not going to be there. The president is not going to be there. He's going to, I guess they might have not given a response or anything like that, right? It is, I mean, I'm not even going to say the words here because
I'm embarrassed, Ali. I'm disgusted right now. I'm embarrassed. It is pathetic how we look as a nation to have such a disgusting filth. And I say that with my entire gut, a disgusting filth in the house that my ancestors built with their hands. And to have him be so callous and disrespectful to those families that lost their loved one. It is no excuse in this world that can be said. All that fake outrage about President Joe Biden, when President Joe Biden was there and looked at his watch because it reminded him of his son, Bo.
Yep.
Because he lost a child.
It's heartless.
I'm done.
And you know what?
Man, it's heartless.
Biden always ends whatever he's saying, God bless America and God bless the troops.
God bless the troops.
Every time, right? And so it is, who can defend this, right? When you look at how he's treating people who paid the ultimate sacrifice, maybe because he didn't get anything out of it, right?
That's it.
I'm wondering if he looked up their name, who they voted for, because that's his SOP, right?
He doesn't care.
You're the commander-in-chief. It don't matter who they voted for, if they like you or not, you're the commander-in-chief, right? And it is, I wasn't expecting anything better than the first 4 years, but this level of disrespect should make everyone feel a certain type of way, right? And we have family members, we have veterans, we have people who are connected to the military community and care for the community. And this is what we have. This is the person who's in charge of us, who's going to dictate, okay, you're going to go to war. We're going to give you these things to supplement and make sure that you're okay.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He really doesn't. And I hate to say that because he is supposedly, quote unquote, the commander in chief, but he does not care a single ounce about anybody. No one.
No one. You know, there's not on this topic. There's not much to say. I'm pretty sure DC maybe chiming in later on. A lot of veterans out there. I hope you're looking into this, right? Because make sure you fact check what you heard, what you're hearing, because if you're a veteran and you voted for him, you should be in the roof right now, right?
Yeah.
This we should take care of our troops. We shouldn't block. Republicans have always blocked legislation meant to help the veteran community. They have always done that. If you look at the record, go on Congress.gov, you can see it. They block. The last time for the PACT Act, John Stewart had to shame them, right? They have always blocked it. Anything for the troops, they only say they for the troops, but in action, like Maddow was saying, she looks at action. They have action that would benefit the troops. They only say it because they get more votes for it, and people hear it and believe what they're saying. They believe.
I need our troops and I need our veterans to understand that actions speak louder than words. And when a person shows you, and people show you, and an administration shows you who they are, please stop trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. Believe them. No, we're not going to agree on everything, but be selfish enough to want better for yourself and for your family. Even now, look at what he's doing with the VA. Even now, not only does he disrespect those who made the ultimate sacrifice, those who are still here needing assistance after going off to war to fight a battle that they put us in, he's refusing. Oh, Lord.
One thing before I part ways here, they put a drunk over the secretary in office. They put a drunk, Pete Hegseth, right? A whole drunk, a whole criminal, right? A whole womanizer, right? And then his
I
deputy,
think DC wants to come up with you.
Come on up if you want to go. And then his deputy secretary of defense is not a military, is not a veteran, never been in the military, right? And he's a capture ventilist. He knows nothing about the military, zero about the military. This dude, Steven Feinberg, knows nothing. He can't even tell you if Russia invaded Ukraine. They asked him during the confirmation a million ways. He says he can't tell you. You'd have to look at the evidence, and he's fumbling around.
I watched that. That was hard to watch because he was lying.
Yes, they are
And
just straight
the
up
fact
lying.
that you were lying and you were lying to protect this person is insanity. And this is supposed to be your country. I see DC is up here. Let me go back on mute because I'm mad. I'm big mad.
I'm pissed. Let me go off on mute. Let me go on mute.
Okay, cuss
And the question was, before DC come in, the question was, did Russia invade Ukraine? It wasn't a Pythag. It wasn't a crazy question where you have to do math or out. It wasn't none of that. It was a simple question. Did Russia invade Ukraine? And Steven Feinberg struggled, hesitated, looking for notes. DC, what's going on, man?
Man, Ali, you're hitting on something that's close to my heart. You're hitting on something close to my heart because I've been intimately involved in dignified transfers, both in my military career and in my commercial career. And if you ever partake or witness it, and you see the guttural reaction of the family when they receive the remains of their loved one, um, it's probably one of the most touching things you can ever see and witness. It's such a precious ceremony. I mean, literally, on the airport, everything shuts down. Everything. There's not a sound. Everybody turns off their aircraft. I mean, it's complete silence when those bodies are removed from those aircraft. And it just, like I said, we knew what he was. We knew what his feelings were towards veterans, and he's told us this over and over and over again. He has no compassion for veterans. He knows nothing about service, about sacrifice. So, my opinion, I'm like Miss Morningstar and DJ Kitty. It's guttural for me, my disdain for this man.
Yeah, I can't say my adjectives here. Yeah, there would be too many bleeping going on, right? It's yeah. So, folks, this is what we have, and this is what we have to deal with right now. And like you said, and even in the units when we do the roll call, and they're calling out the names before they call out the folks that are, that the fallen soldiers. If you ever been to that ceremony when they're calling everybody that's there in the audience, and then they call the soldiers or the soldier or the airman or the marine or the coast guard, if you're ever there when they call their name, and because they do it a certain way, they call their name and rank, then they call their first name and their last name. They may call their first name, middle name, and last name, and then they call their first name, middle name, and last name, and where they're from. And it's a silent that you could hear water falling on cotton. That's how silent and how, you have to just, man. So, folks, make sure you get out there and vote in every election, local, federal, every election, right? One tool you could use is the bluevoterguide.org. If you go to bluevoterguide.org, that is the word blue, voter guide.org, you'll see a map of the United States, and he'll tell you what's going on, special elections, amendments, all these things that's going on in your state. You could put your zip code, you could click on the state. It's very interactive. bluevoterguide.org. Make sure we're participating, because even before the next election, we have a lot of important elections, amendments, and all these things are coming up. We have to stay engaged. And they're not going to tell you that these are going on. They're just going to have them. And if you don't participate, it's a win for them, because the less people who participate in voting is better for the opposition. Let me say it again. The less people who participate is better for them. As a matter of fact, hopefully the next week, I'll talk about the SAVE Act. And that's going to roll into that. The SAVE Act, if you might want to do your homework before next week so you could understand what I'm saying. It's the SAVE Act. Look it up. It's the SAVE Act. You're going to think I'm lying when I tell you the details of what they want to do with that act, and they want to pass it. So look it up. I don't have any time. I'm going to give DC the proper amount of time to do what he got to do, and the hosts and the co-hosts. The SAVE Act, SAVE, and it's an act. SAVE Act. Look it up. Put it in Google. Go to congress.gov. Look it up.
We'll talk about it next week for sure. Next Tuesday, we will go through the SAVE Act vibe. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, Ali Go, for coming.
All right.
as usual, coming and giving veterans a voice. I'm quite sure there are plenty of veterans that are hearing this. And those that are hearing it, please understand that you've got a community here that loves you. You know,
And
although,
I
yeah,
wanted to say this. Thank you immensely, all my
yeah,
veterans that
thank
are listening far and wide and near. Thank you for your sacrifice and your
thank you.
services, because I couldn't do it. And I know a lot of us that couldn't do it, but y'all did it. And we appreciate y'all and thank you
Absolutely.
1,000 times, because you didn't have to do it. You did not
Yes.
have to do it.
And we mean what we say. You know, there's a there's a difference in the stature of a person who served in the military. They're more disciplined. They are more knowing because they've seen things that the average citizen hasn't seen. They've been to war. You know, they've been in situations that most of us can't even imagine. So I can't do anything other than say thank you and mean it truly. And I know that it's a difficult time right now where we are in the midst of a administration who's basically crapping on our vets. But just know that you are loved and appreciated and needed. And if, I know that the hotline has been disabled. Hopefully that'll, get back up, but you can always reach out to any of us if you need to talk. We're here. We are our own community, and we don't have to do it alone. This is going to be a weird, crazy 4 years, but we have each other. So again, Aligo, thank you so much. We really and truly appreciate you for coming and speaking to not just the vets, but speaking to us all and making us aware of the importance of honoring those who've given the ultimate sacrifice. We will be right back after a brief message. You are listening to Our Plugs, the Community Connection on WKRA 92.7, The Change.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ashley Middleton, life and executive leadership coach and owner of Radiate Coaching and Development, where we provide transformational, strength-based coaching and mentorship. My goal specifically is to support you in identifying your mission, your vision, and your values that help you take your power back as you are building your career. Whether it's within or outside of the corporate world, my goal is to really empower you in making decisions that work well for you. So if you want to reach out to me, by all means, you can email me at radiate@midspiration.com or check out my website at radiatecoaching.com.
Welcome to Nutrition You Design. Finally, your place to really get to the bottom line of your health with our functional nutritionist Gail Thorpe on board. You have a caring practitioner to get to the root cause of your health concerns when all else fails. At Nutrition You Design, we specialize in women's health, anywhere from hormones, fibroids, menopause. We have you covered. With over 200 specialty lab tests, we are like your personal health detective. We offer customized meal plans, genetic testing, stress management, and a host of other offers to really get you healthy. Be sure to book your consultation at nutritionyoudesign.com or give us a call at 877-898-5130. You can also find us at ourplugs.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Opal Simplistic Beauty is hair care and skincare in a bottle. Take a quick survey and let us design your own formula. Go to ourplugs.com, look for Opal Simplistic Beauty, and we can get your formula out to you as soon as possible. We hope to hear from you soon. Have a great day.
And I'd like you to do one more thing for me. Hold up 2 fingers. This is you, and this is me. And the space that exists between us should be filled with value.
Equal, a global human initiative, and its value identity model.
And we are back. We are back And we are going to continue the show. This second half of our show, we are going to talk to our leaders in our community. We are blessed to see and have a new face to the group. But until we, well, Miss Morningstar already brought her on up. I'm going to turn the mic over to DC. DC is our admin, he's our lead on mentors. So, DC, good morning. How are you? You're on mute. There we go. You're on. You're still on mute. You just turned your camera on. Yes, there we go.
Okay, sorry about
That's
that.
okay. That's okay. You
We've
know.
been having these technical difficulties today with this mute
Yes,
button.
it's okay. It happens.
So today, monologue, we were talking about educating our children. And I think as a pillar of being a mentor and a leader, education is fundamental. So I felt it necessary, especially in the current political climate with the defunding of the Department of Education, that we explore other options to educate our children. And so I reached out to Mrs. Franklin, who's what I would like to call a resident expert on homeschooling, to educate us on the options of educating our own children. Um, so I'd like to bring to the stage Miss Enid Franklin.
Hi.
Hey, Miss Enid.
Hello. Good evening. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
Well, welcome in. Yes.
Yeah, Enid is the founder of the Franklin Homeschool Services. She spent 14 years homeschooling her 3 children. During that time, she taught other homeschool students via a co-op. She created classes like Money Matters, History Through Film, the 51%, which outlines women's history, and many others. Enid also served as an administrative coordinator for the Maryland Homeschool Reviews, which is an organization certified by the state of Maryland to do portfolio reviews for homeschooling families. She started Franklin Homeschool Services after her last child entered college. She worked with the homeschooling families to create personalized educational plans for their children. She has since closed that business, but is always available to serve as a resource for those wanting to take charge of their children's education.
That's amazing. That's amazing, Enid. What?
Thank you.
Let me ask you, what got you in wanting to homeschool?
It was never something that I planned, but the school at the time, the Boundary School, was not some place that I wanted to send my daughter. I was, I had issues with fertility and everything, and so I just felt like this was just like my little precious gem, and I just could not just send her anywhere. She was very bright, she was very sweet, and just the stuff that was coming out of school was not positive. So I had to look for other options. We tried the lottery to be able to get her into a nicer program like Montessori or what have you. We could never get in through the lottery, and we couldn't afford private school at the time. But so I decided I was going to homeschool for kindergarten, but then a new charter school opened up, and on paper, it looked fantastic. However, it was not a good experience for either one of us. So I did allow her to finish kindergarten at the charter school, mostly out of fear, because I had really decided by Christmas that she was going back the next year. And had I not been such a coward, I would have taken her out and started homeschooling then. But we started officially for first grade and never went back.
That's awesome, Enid.
That is. So let me ask you, because I know now that the Department of Education has decided to, the administration has decided to do away with the Department of Education. There are a lot of parents who are going to want to know, how do I get started? Can you give us some tips on what are some basic things that they need to do in order to get started on homeschooling their children?
It's a variety of things. First, you need to figure out what your homeschooling laws are in your area. Am I loud enough?
No. I wasn't talking to you.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
You're just fine.
Okay, so yeah, find out what the homeschooling guidelines are in your area. That's first. And then once you do that, it's a matter of trying to figure out how you want to homeschool your child, because there are various ways to do it, and you have to find something that works for you and your family. Every homeschool is not going to look the same. So once you kind of know like how much time you have to dedicate to this, how much money, because you can do it for basically nothing, or you could spend thousands of dollars, which I would never, ever, ever recommend. But I mean, that option is out there. You look at your budget, you look at if you would like a religious curriculum or not. I mean, there are lots of things to look at. You look at what your child's, well, you should look at what your child's strengths and weaknesses are, what their strengths are. And then you can kind of find curriculum that aligns with your child's interests and strengths, which is a lot of what I did with my consulting service, because it's so much information out there, so many different programs for parents to use, and it gets overwhelming. So, a lot of times what they do is they'll ask somebody they know who homeschools, hey, what do you use? So, they'll tell them what they use, and then it doesn't work because, that works with their family. The kids are not the same. So, it takes a little bit of time and research to figure out what curriculum is going to work best. And a lot of times when people are coming from a traditional school environment to a homeschool, we recommend a deschooling period, and which is hard for a lot of people to comprehend, because basically that is a time where children aren't really doing much of anything. It's trying to change their mindset from traditional school to homeschool, because it operates differently. But during that time, you can kind of gauge what how your child likes to learn, so, maybe one day, let's watch this documentary. Oh gosh, I don't want to do that. Okay, let's go on a field trip. Let's read some books, let's do some kind of project. Nothing too, heavy right away, just to make the transition a bit easier. But knowing how your child learns and how they take in information is a really big part of homeschooling, and how you choose to homeschool.
So I have another question, and thank you for that information. I have another question. So at the end of the school year, is there some sort of testing for your child to go to the next grade level? And how do they get the grades, to move after they do that? I assume testing, I don't know. But how do they get their diploma, their actual diploma from the state?
Okay, that is going to vary from state to state.
Okay.
You have some states that are very, they have their own set of rules in terms of testing, and all these requirements and paperwork. Then you have some states where you don't have to do anything. You don't even have to tell them that you're homeschooling. I mean, it's it's kind of anarchy. There's nothing that's the same in all 50 states. So you really do have to know what your laws are. I'm in the state of Maryland, and we're kind of like in the middle. You have to let them know, and that's pretty much it. You do have to have reviews, but they do not tell you what to, you don't have a certain curriculum that you have to teach and all that. There's certain subjects that they do want you to have, which is fine, but they don't do it's not a whole lot of oversight. But for me, because let's say when we talk about high school, and getting their diploma, some homeschoolers opt to get a GED. and that's totally fine. So they'll have something. And I know in the state of Maryland, other states too, but I'm not sure which ones. But I know in the state of Maryland, if you take the GED, when you pass, you actually do get a Maryland state diploma. But for me, for my homeschooling program with my kids, I gave them their diploma from what we call the Franklin Academy. We had a graduation, they had transcripts. There were things that they were required to do to be able to graduate. And it's often a conversation when people are like, well, if they don't have a diploma, an official diploma, how do they get into college? I said, well, the college doesn't look for a diploma. The college looks for a transcript. And we have our transcripts. So, so it's never been a problem.
And I guess you need a way to gauge your success is tell them about the success of your children and their level of post homeschooling education.
So so my kids, they did very well. My oldest, she got her master's at 21 in journalism from Temple University. My son, he's currently an EMT. He did 2 years at college, and he had decided that, he's like, I don't think I want to do this. And I said, you know what? That's fine. You gave it a shot. I'm good with that. You don't have to go to college, but you have to have a plan. So he did 2 years. Said it wasn't for him, at least not at that time. And so now he's an EMT. Of course, now that he's been an EMT, now he's thinking about possibly becoming a physician's assistant or going to nursing school. So it's still going to be more school. My youngest, the baby, she's a junior at Drexel University. She's a music industry major, and she's on the dean's list, and she is. And I'm proud of all of them, but my youngest, she had a lot of things that she had to overcome. She with ADHD and some processing disorders and just a lot going on. And to see her doing so incredibly well,
awesome
at college is amazing. I'm very, very proud of my kids.
I'm sure you are. You should pat yourself on the back, baby. You did real good with your baby. I mean,
right.
Yes, I know that's right. No one can teach us more than we can teach ourselves, because they're only going to teach us what they want us to know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's, they stripping books and all this, that, and the third, as if we can't learn ourselves,
Right.
What are you going to do? Strip it off the internet?
Right. And then and I always say that, when it comes to homeschooling, no one has your best interest at heart, like a parent.
Right.
No one cares more about you and your future, your entire self. Nobody cares more than me, And so I'm going to do whatever I have to do to, give you the education. Do I know everything? Absolutely not. But I know how to research. I know how to outsource, So, I know how to fill in. I know how to fill in the gaps.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So, as your children went through homeschool, did they feel that they were missing out on anything when it came to like activities within the school, like prom or, things, senior events or, freshman trips, things that kids look forward to? Did they feel that, or was there some type of activities that the itinerary will fill in those in other communities that you can link up with other homeschool kids that they could possibly connect with and do things with? Was that something available?
Absolutely. We had, my kids went to proms and formals, and we were able to do a junior senior trip. We had, all kinds of activities. We had a, graduation. We do we were lucky enough to have a community that we could do all of this stuff with. I mean, to this day, my youngest son, my son and my younger daughter, their closest friends are the friends that they had made. We called it the center, at the homeschool center, that they made at the center, and they just became just almost like an extended family. I love those kids. They would come, they would have, it was a group of them. So it was 7 in total who they made just like this really tight knit group, and they would come over and they sleepovers. We took like weekend trips with the families and all that. So in terms of that, that part, not really. Now my older daughter, she is very much a social butterfly, and very, very Disney, the TV experience and all that. And I'm trying to explain to her the stuff you see on TV, that didn't even happen in actual school. So there were some things that she felt that she missed out on. But at the same time, she knew that she was privileged, when her friends are at the bus stop at 6:30 in the morning and she's still in the bed sleeping soundly.
Right.
And that she had so much free time. She would get up, she would do her work. Then she had the rest of the day to herself. She wrote scripts, she made movies, she did all kinds of things that she would not have had time to do had she been in a traditional schooling environment. So,
and I bet you she was rested well. A lot of the times we see these children, and I feel bad for them because they're tired. They get up extra early. They go in. They have tons of curriculum, tons of classes to get through. And then they're in sporting events, and then they do. Some of them have little part-time jobs, and because they want to have their own little money, and you want to allow them to get into those things. But it can be It could be a tiring day. I'm just speaking on my personal experience. I have a 17-year-old daughter who's in early college, and she's now she's taking mostly college courses. And she's when I come home, when I see her, I'm like, "How you doing?" She's like, "I'm tired." And because she's a track, she does track, she does a lot,
right?
But it's the college courses now that she's taking. She's always been super bright, but it's tiring. It drains them.
Yeah. I get that. And it's funny because, when you're a kid, you don't really have a lot of, you don't have any autonomy really, and so there will be days, especially when they were younger, there would be days when we wake up and just for whatever reason, the energy was off and nobody really felt like doing anything, so those would be the days. It was usually one or two options. Either the first option, because we live like at the time, we were like 10 minutes outside of DC. We would just pile into the minivan and we would drive down to the National Mall, and whatever museum I found a space closest to, we went to the museum. We would go to the museum for like 2.5 hours. We would come out, we'd go get a vendor, hot dog and some snacks for lunch, get in the car, go home, take a nap. And that was our school day, because some days you don't want to sit.
Museums are educational.
They're educational. But if we didn't do that, then it was like a cozy day, and we would watch, sit in our pajamas, and we would watch a documentary. Netflix had plenty of documentaries, and so we would find something to watch, and we watch it all together. And everybody would have an assignment to do based off of the documentary. My daughter, because she was older and she was a writer, and that was really her thing, she would have a paper to write. The youngest, she would have to do, maybe like draw a picture or something. My son, I would give him a little, some kind of project to do. But it all had to be related to the documentary that we watched, but it was all about, grade levels. For, with the assignment that I gave them. Yeah.
Good work.
So, Ian, I had a question for you. I mean, in today's time, how important do you think that it is for us to really wrap our arms around our kids' education?
I mean, I, I honestly have no idea what's going on. I mean, every day it's just like, what is happening? I mean, the way they're changing the language, the way certain books, aren't allowed. It's really scary because you don't really know how far um, things are going to go. So I feel like if you have the means and the opportunity and and the spirit for it, do it. You know, uh, homeschool your own kids. Um, I just feel like they can get such a very rich experience and a more honestly, even though they're home, a more diverse experience because you're showing them stuff that they would never get um, to see in the classroom or do in the classroom. When my oldest, when she was, I don't know, maybe 10, one day she asked me, uh, what's the periodic table? And so I briefly explained it to her and she was just like, huh. So she was interested in the periodic table. So of course, for the next several weeks, that's what we did. We went over the periodic table. Again, she was 10. If she was in school and she asked her teacher about the periodic table, she may tell her what it was, but that was going to be the end of the discussion because guess what? We don't do chemistry until 11th grade.
Yes.
Trust me, by 11th grade, she would have completely lost interest, So I think being able to, take control of your children's education and kind of let them, you know, not completely, but let them kind of guide, what it is that they want to learn. They're very bright, So
I have a question, and
mhm,
so I know several people who want to homeschool their kids now because of the Department of Education and this administration and everything that's going on.
mhm,
But they work. And so my idea is if you have, say you have 2 or 3 parents that can come together and homeschool a group together and they take turns, Monday and Tuesday they're with this parent, Wednesday they may be with this parent, Thursday and Friday they'll be with this parent, and they rotate and they have a curriculum that all the kids go by. This is just a suggestion for those who are out here listening and you want to homeschool. Maybe get with, find folks in your community that that you trust, and have kids around the same age group, and you guys do it together. Because let's be honest, we're all working, and right now it's detrimental because of all the cuts that have been made. We may have to team up and do some homeschooling together as a community, or 2, 3, 4 parents taking turns teaching a group of children because people have to work.
mhm.
What's your thoughts on that, Enid?
Well, that which you described, that has been happening for a very long time.
Good.
And it got to be very popular during COVID.
COVID.
And so, families, they would create basically these pods, these family pods. And they would even hire somebody who could come in and teach their kids, you know, while they worked. And so it's for a lot of people, it's just a matter, it's a matter of finding your village, and I've felt that that's very, very important. You may try a couple different co-ops, but eventually you will find your village, and that will make your homeschooling journey so much more pleasurable. When when you have some people who can rely on you, like-minded folks who you can rely on, and help out. So doing that, the whole pod thing, that is a very popular idea. Hiring a tutor, also remembering that school, to educate your child at home, does not take 6 hours a day. When you are homeschooling, because there's a lot of fluff throughout the day. So, you are homeschooling, especially like through elementary school, 2.5, maybe 3 hours a day. That's all
Wow.
the school that they need. Mhm. It does not take that same amount of time because I can sit down with my daughter. We can go over a math lesson and do our math problems. We can do that in 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas you have to block out, an hour and a half so that the whole class can get it. So yeah, even when you get to the high school years, and at that point, they're generally learning on their own anyway. But we're still only talking maybe four, maybe 5 hours. So it does not take all day. And school does not necessarily have to happen at traditional school times.
I love that idea.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think we need this, like, definitely within our community. Like, we need, and this is the point of us having our plugs. One of the reasons why, to bring educators in, because now with the, like she said, Department of Education is being demolished. We need somewhere, and they're stripping our history, trying to.
Yeah.
We need something that's tangible, and parents do work. So we have a lot of people who do work from home now. We need to have a community that you can just go to the internet, dial up on your community site and say, hey, I'm ready to pull such and such in this group for homeschool. Somebody you can trust. So
right.
Amazing.
That would be great. That's great. I would love to try and organize something like that, just so our kids have the opportunity, Enid,
Absolutely.
I know shut your business down, but if you ever feel the need to, reopen your business, you're more than welcome to come to our plug and get set up and show them.
Like I said, the business is closed, but I'm always available. I'm always available as a resource. It's just not what I do full time anymore.
I get it.
But I absolutely will. I mean, I have no problem taking up that banner. That was something that I actually, even though it was something I felt I started out of necessity, it's something that I actually really kind of fell in love with and am a huge proponent of it. And, yeah, I'm always pushing.
That might be what we do. Moving forward in life, that might be the new way of life for us.
I mean, I think it may be. If you really think about it, he's stripping the Department of Education. When our kids go to school, they're not going to learn about our history. They don't want to teach our history.
A whole bunch of stuff.
It's a lot. And, let's just be honest. It's time for us to pull back and just do us. That's the whole point. It's the whole point. Well, Enid, I want to say thank you personally. Thank you for coming and sharing your information. I'm quite sure our listeners will really enjoy, and it gives them something to think about now that we are all in the same position, no matter who you are or wherever you came from.
Right.
The Department of Education, that means that Black and brown people won't learn about who they are. That means that, your kids will be subjected to the state, and heaven forbid you're in the red state. Don't let me get started.
Right.
But I will say thank you so much for coming, and we appreciate you, and you're welcome back anytime. Anytime DC wants to put you on the schedule, come on, sister.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this a lot. Thank you so much.
Make sure you register with our plugs and become a general member. It's free. You can just become a member and put what you do in there, because there may be some questions people have who want to get a business started doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do.
All right.
Great resource for you. DC, as always, thank you. Any last words before we shut the show down? We've got 2 minutes, so maybe 30 seconds each. Go ahead, Enid. Would you like to say anything else before we shut it down for the morning?
No, not really. Just if you're interested in homeschooling, I mean, I really want you to, let it be something that you really think about. It does not have to look like school at home. And I'm always emphasizing that. It does not have to be school at home. It's your homeschool. It can look the way you want it to look. And for some people that's exciting. For some people that's scary. But it could be very rewarding, not only to your children, but to you as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. DC, any last words?
Yeah, I mean, it all pivots back to building our own. our future leaders. We may have to build and mentor them within our own confines to make sure that they understand the true relevance of what's happening when we're talking about defunding the Department of Education. There's just so many aspects that are going to be affected. Pell Grants, financial aid. Now they're threatening HBCUs if they don't stop teaching DEI or curricula, that they may be defunded. So, we're under a full-on assault. So we have to build our plans now of how we're going to counter react to what's going on.
Absolutely. Thank you, as always, for coming through. We appreciate you. Miss Morningstar, any last words?
Have a great day, everybody. Thank you for stopping by this morning.
Absolutely. You're listening to Our Plugs, the Community Connection on WKRA. You guys go out there and enjoy your Tuesday. Hey, y'all. It's DJ Kitty.
And Miss Morningstar.
We are here from Our Plugs, the Community Connection, and we will be your new morning host on WKRA 92.7 The Change.
Yes, we will be broadcasting Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time.
We'll also be streaming on YouTube at Our Plugs LLC.
Be sure to tune in.